Talking about Connor Williams. This is an interesting conversation for the news that came out yesterday. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, we were talking Connor Williams today. I told you guys that today was going to be Big O and me. That is going to be coming out tomorrow. It's already recorded. I just got to edit it up and send it out. But yesterday, the news came out about Connor Williams and what he said, and I thought it was incredibly interesting. So I want to talk about it. And obviously, the title of the video is something I want to talk about because that is a big part that could help the offense. But before we jump into that, there was some news released of Marcus May's contract details. So he's only getting $1.21 million in a base salary with $167,600 in a signing bonus and $567,500 guaranteed money. They could cut him and save like $500,000, but they're not going to. The way his contract is structured, it just makes no sense that you're going to get pennies by releasing him. Plus, he's good depth. I already talked about this for the safeties, and we run that 3 safety set like the Ravens are going to. So he just fits, but it's a fair contract. It's nothing. It's barely anything for him to come in, help out Jalen Waddle, Jordan Poyer, on my brain, and maybe Nick Needham. So I wanted to show that contract. Also, kind of wanted to talk about where the Dolphins are at in cap space, since we are going to be talking about adding potentially another player. And this is where the Dolphins are sitting at in cap space right now, 16.891, whatever. I always round up. So $16.9 million in cap space. With that 1.2 coming off, it's about 15 million in cap space. And then we don't know how much Calais Campbell's contract is, so let's round it down to about 13 million in cap space. So that's how much the Dolphins will have after May and Calais Campbell's money comes off. So about, 13 million in cap space. Not too bad. They still have a ton of money, and they already signed their draft picks and everything. So this is literally money that they can do stuff with, or they can hold it over. Also, again, don't forget that when Tua Tagovailoa signs a new contract, his cap hit this year of $23 million will be reduced, which will add more money to the cap. And if they do decide to give Tyreek Hill a new contract, maybe add him one more year of guarantee that he won't be cut, being that this is his last year and the Dolphins can move on from him, that also will reduce the cap hit. So the Dolphins are fine when it comes to money. And I think those two moves, if they do them, like I said before, of Tua and Tyreek, probably is more of clearing up cap space for next year. So they are good to go when free agency comes next year. So the Dolphins are fine in cap space. So I can talk about what I want to talk about right now. And that is, boom, former Cowboys and Dolphins free agent center Connor Williams, who is coming off a season-ending knee surgery, expects to be ready for the start of the season and is in discussion with multiple teams about where to play in 2024. This last sentence is all agent talk. He plans to pick his new team before training camp begins. And a lot of people are looking at that and saying, well, it ain't the Dolphins because it's a new team. I take that with a grain of salt. Because that could be his agent being like, hey, Miami, we're going somewhere else. Multiple teams want us. What are you going to pay up? Are you going to do this? You're going to do that? So it's a lot of agent talk. But the part of me that is like intrigued and why I wanted to make this video is that he expects to be ready for the start of the season. Now, that doesn't mean that he will be ready for the start of the season. Expects to be ready, which means that his rehab is going well. He's far off. What is this? Frozen? Far enough in the process of his rehab that the doctors and him and everyone is confident to say, okay, you're good. You can play this season. It just depends when you can play this season. So his agent, again, is coming out and saying, oh, we're expecting to be ready for the start of the season. We got multiple teams that want him. We're going to pick a new team. Miami, hear that? So all that news and stuff made me sit back and go, should the Miami Dolphins bring back Connor Williams? It's a very interesting subject. Now, this is the contract that Connor Williams signed with Miami. I think this is when he joined the team in 2022, 2023. No. Yes. This is when he joined the team. He signed a 2-year, $14 million contract, and his cap hit in 2022 was $5.6 million, and his cap hit is $8.3 in 2023. Now, he was one of the best centers in the NFL. I will show you that off of PFF. Ranked high, incredibly high when it came to him playing center. And you think about like contract wise, and that's something that you got to think about, is how much is he going to want, how much, all of these things. And he's coming off a major knee injury. So that's, again, something that you need to take into consideration, being that this is how much he signed when he left the Dallas Cowboys to come to Miami. Not a lot of money. You just came off of a huge knee injury. We don't know how much you're going to be healthy, all that stuff. So he's going to want to be paid like the second best center in the NFL. And that was his PFF ranking in 2023. He was the second best center. And if you look at how he played last season for us, there was little spurts against the Giants. But again, that Giant game, he shouldn't have came back. He rushed him. He even came out and said he rushed himself back because that groin injury wasn't 100%, and he rushed himself back. Elite game against the Jets, who have a very, very, very good defensive front. He was solid. You could see 80.6 and run blocking 90.5. He was solid for Miami. So that's where the consideration has to come in of how much is he going to want and all that stuff. So, to answer the question of the title of the video, should the Miami Dolphins bring back Connor Williams? That is an emphatic yes. There shouldn't be a question in your mind that the Dolphins should 100% bring back Connor Williams for the right price. They're not going to throw $12 million at a guy who just had major ACL knee injury and was, the news around the NFL was he might not play again. It's worse than everyone thought. Again, I think that quote was from his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, and I think it was to talk up his player like he should and kind of put out feelers. Hey, he could be good to go for the start of the season. Multiple teams want him. He wants a new team. Those are like the 3 points in that quote that I'm like, that's agent talk. Should be good for the start of the season. Not saying he will be. Multiple teams want him. New team. I honestly think that the Miami Dolphins, if this is true, and the Dolphins have been on record saying that they have been in constant contact with Connor Williams to see how his rehab's going and all that stuff. Because I personally think that if he never hurt his knee, that he would have been re-signed to the Miami Dolphins. I think they would have let Robert Hunt go. I think they would have let Christian Wilkins go. And I think they would have brought back Connor Williams. So I honestly think, yes, 100% they should try and bring back Connor Williams. Now, we have Brewer at center. Connor Williams is such a better center than Aaron Brewer. Like, it's not even a question that he's a better center than Aaron Brewer. Bring back Connor Williams, and then you have your guys do their things. Again, if he will be ready by the start of the season, which means he should be able to come into training camp and do some things, at least towards the middle of training camp, and have them all compete. There's no one on this offensive line except for Teron Armstead and Austin Jackson that you could sit back and say they earned their starting spot. They are locked in at center. They are locked in at right guard. They are locked in at left guard. That's it. If we bring anyone else in, they're going to have to be a backup. Bring in Connor Williams and have all three of them just play in training camp. And then you put your best three in the best positions. And to me, that possibly could be Connor Williams at center. Again, if he's good to go for the start of the season. Isaiah Wynn at left guard. Maybe Brewer at right guard. And then you have Liam Eichenberg at backup center. Driscoll is that guy who's, can play guard, left, right guard. And there you go. You have depth at that offensive line where we've been in a situation for how many years now where that offensive line constantly gets banged up. Bring back Connor Williams. He is not going to break the bank. No one is going to throw $20 million at Connor Williams to come play for them because of the question mark of when will you be able to go? Because again, the quote from his agent is he should be ready for the start of the season. That doesn't mean he will be ready for the start of the season. So yeah, 100% bring back Connor Williams. See how much you can get him for. If it's in the realm of the same contract you gave him the first time, $5.6 million in 2022, $8.3 million in 2023. Like his total guaranteed was $8.5 million. Give him the same contract, 2 years, $14 million. Hey, if you can't stay healthy, we're gonna have to move on. Like, just bring him back. They tried to re-sign him in the off season. He did hold out of OTAs, a mandatory minicamp, because he wanted that new contract. He bet on himself. He lost. That is the situation where some of these players have to take a step back and think. Christian Wilkins bet on himself. He won. Robert Hunt bet on himself. He won. Connor Williams bet on himself, and he lost. He got a very bad, serious injury. He had 2 injuries in the year, and unfortunately, he lost. This is a situation where, okay, hey, we will bring you back. We want you to come back. You're comfortable, Butch Barry. You're comfortable with the offense. We'll bring you back. Show us that you're healthy. Show us you can do your thing, and we will give you a contract extension. But 100% bring him back. I don't feel comfortable with Aaron Brewer at center. I feel comfortable with Connor Williams at center. His snaps scared me at some point, but I like him better than anything else we have. And then you can put your best, interior offensive line together, and let's go win the division. So comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think the Dolphins should bring back Connor Williams? I would be surprised if any of you guys said no. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Big O and me chat a lot. It's fun. And then I think Friday we'll talk wide receiver depth, or if any other news breaks, you'll get videos on that. But usual, stay classy. FN's up.